Welcome to the range. This time it's an outdoor range, the Clay Pigeon Club that's just to the east of our city. So today I'll be using a 12 gauge Beretta. This is a 682 gold. Okay, very nice gun. This particular one's 20 years old. I bought it brand new out of the UK. All right, you can see it's got the extended chokes. All right, we can undo those by hand very easily. The color on the chokes, there's a ring on the chokes there, a plastic ring, and that color tells us what chokes we've actually got in the gun. Now, what does the choke do? The choke dictates the size of the shot pattern. So if we're shooting a clay that's quite close, we can put in a choke that allows for a bigger spread pattern. If we're shooting one further away, we put in a tighter choke that will shrink the pattern, and so it'll carry further for that clay. If you're an expert shooter, every bird out of 100 makes a difference. For my level of shooting and for most people's level, chokes make very little difference. I personally don't change my chokes because I'm not at that level of shooting where, you know, I'm not shooting 99 out of 100. For those that are, yeah, chokes would make a difference. Okay, so that's a 12 gauge shotgun. Now there's another gun here. Let's pop this one down in the rack. So the other gun that we use on this particular range as a training gun is this little Tankies Beretta. This is in a 20 gauge format. It's a 3-shot semi-automatic. For a beginner, a junior or a beginner, or often the smaller ladies and so on, this is a lovely, lovely gun. The amount of shot you get within a cartridge, a 20 gauge cartridge, is less than a 12 gauge, but it's just such a nice caliber to shoot. And on a little compact range like this, you can really get your iron with a gun like this. I've taught a number of people, smaller shooters of smaller stature, to shoot. My daughter I taught to shoot with this, but very easy to shoot. Probably, I'm guessing this one only weighs about 5 pounds. It's got a very short reach on it, so for a junior shooter, this is ideal. Highly recommended as a junior or ladies gun, this. Okay, so now I'm going to run you through the actual format of this English sporting compact, and then we'll shoot a few clays. We'll discuss the stance that we're going to use, the correct stance for all shooting, but particularly for clay pigeon shooting. The stance and the way you set up is really, really important to get that right, so you're ready for each clay wherever it's coming from. Okay, so let's get cracking. We're going to have a look at the range. Okay, so the first range we have here is an English sporting compact range, and what you have is you have 5 cages in a line, okay, and normally you'd have 5 shooters, and although you can shoot it on your own without a problem or in twos or whatever, but a full complement is 5 people. And so we shoot with a shotgun, 12 gauge or 20 gauge, whatever that may be. This is a typical gun for clay pigeon shooting. Can also be used for sporting uses like pigeon shooting or whatever. Okay, this particular one's a Beretta. Okay, so if we go over to a house, so this is our cage where we're going to stand, okay, and we have 5 clay pigeon traps in various locations for this particular range. And this is a very, very common range around the world, English sporting compact, because it takes a very small area and it's very versatile. And with this particular range, we'll shoot 25 clays in total, and we'll shoot 5 from each of these cages. All right, and how does that work? So what we do is we have a little target board here on the floor, and that tells us what we're going to shoot first. And in this particular case, the first one we're going to shoot is a single, and it's A. And the trap house A is behind us, so that clay is going to come here, over our heads, and down the down range like this. The next shooter will then shoot B, C, and so on. When it comes back to me, after the last of the 5 shooters has shot, we'll then shoot B and D on report. Now, what on report means is that we call pull. We shoot at our first clay. As soon as we've shot, my trap master will then press for the second clay, and that one will come. Very nice. They're usually quite close together, and it's a nice way to shoot. Very sort of natural shooting. And then we're on to, so that'll go down the line again. And then so the next one we come down to is a double. And that, on this particular cage will be C and E at the same time, a double. So with this particular range, C is out on our left here, it's a crossing bird to the right, and E is over there on the right, which will be a crossing bird to the left. That's a very challenging double, and these are at about 60-70 yards, moving quite quickly. The clay is side on, and so let's have a quick look at the clay and discuss the clay. So this is a typical standard clay pigeon. There's 3 different sizes of this type of clay, and then we also have a rabbit, which is a disc that runs on the ground. On this range, we only have standards. So this is a clay. They're made in various places. Italy make them. England's got a good industry making these. When this is hit by the shot from the shotgun, okay, this will break. It's made of a clay and a pitch residue, and will break relatively easily. We can just break it on our hand if we wanted to, like that. Okay, so tolerances are extremely fine in these, and so these go into our automatic traps. The traps throw them out, and that's what we're shooting at. Okay, right. So we're gonna shoot a few of these clays on this range and show you how to do it, and the right stance and the right hold and so on. So we'll crack on with that. Now, for clay pigeon shooting, stance is so important, as it is for all shooting disciplines. But we see a lot of people starting off shooting clays, and they shoot more like a bow and arrow, so like this. If they haven't had any instruction, they're shooting like this. The head's often, the cheek is off the gun. So what we want to do is we want to first decide which clay are we shooting. Well, let's say we're shooting A. It's coming over the top, quite a difficult fast bird. Okay, we know we want to shoot it there, so our stance, we're going to be square onto the bird. That's where we're going to shoot that clay. Okay, the butt of our gun will be on our waist. Okay, we take the gun the muzzle will be on the line of the clay as it comes across. So we basically call pull. We're going to push the muzzle of the gun out onto the clay and shoot the clay like this. Okay, one of the mistakes a lot of beginners make is to hold the gun for a long time before they call pull, and that's a problem, because these guns are between 6.5 and 7.5 pounds. This one's 7, and so if we are holding the gun for a long time, our arms get very tired. And so what we want to do is we want to hold the gun with the center of gravity being down our body, so we can also take some weight off on our hip. Okay, and while we're waiting to shoot, or we can set up and the gun is in this position. Once we're ready to shoot, we can call pull, mount the gun, follow, and shoot the clay. Okay, so we're ready to shoot. Okay, so safety is everything on all shooting sports. It's so important. The muzzle of our gun's outside of the cage, forward. Okay, there's two rounds in there. I'm going to shoot a bird. When I call pull, my trap master will release the bird. Okay, so my muzzle is up. Okay, my finger's off the trigger on the side of the gun for now. I haven't called pull. Okay, my stance, I'm happy with my stance. I'm going to be shooting the bird about there. So finger on the trigger, call pull, pull. Okay, so that took the second round. We've just arrived, no practice. Oh, and the ammo we're shooting is Ely Club 28 gram, 7.5 size shot. Really nice little rounds there. Okay, we'll give that another go. So one of the things that's really important is once you've shot, bring the gun down. So it's up, bang, bang, and down. It means your arms aren't going to get tired every time you shoot. So let's go again. Pull. Okay, there we go. It's a better shot. First time. Right, let's go again. Pull. So that's the A bird going away. Now let's try a couple of combos. We'll try an A and a D. D's very easy, shouldn't be a problem. We'll actually try them as a double. So it's really important when you're shooting clays, if you've got a double coming, to plan your shooting. So this is A, and D is coming there. And D is going to go straight up in the air. Now I know that D's slow and I know A is fast. I have to shoot A first. And it's really important to plan ahead for that type of thing. You can't be wondering, oh, do I shoot D, do I shoot A? You have to know, okay, A is the first bird I've got to shoot. Okay, so let's give that a go. A and D double, please. Pull. Okay, that whole process of shooting those two clays takes a couple of seconds. So we call pull, we're up on the A, bang, up on D, bang, and down. The reason I want to get the whole process done quickly, it's more efficient, you shoot better, but also we don't want to be holding the gun up like this. Okay, so same again, let's do that again. Pull. Okay, there we go. Okay, that was dust. It's nice when you hit them like that. So on this particular trap house, we'd be shooting A first over the top, then B and D. Okay, B trap is over there. D is the one straight up in the air, and that would be on report, and then C and E. Once we've done that and it's gone down the line, and our last shooter is shot, okay, everyone's shot the full combo of 5, we would then move to the next trap. Let's do that. Oh, sorry, to the next cage. So we'd be now number 2, and our number 5 shooter would move to cage number 1. Okay, so it's a rotation. I was the first shooter. I would go down the line, 25 rounds, 5 from each house, okay, or each cage, and when I end up at the end, that's my last 5. Okay, so everyone shoots 5. So this one here, we'll try a C and an E crosser. Very difficult as a double. Okay, now with birds that are this far away, you've got to keep the gun moving and you've got to be in front of the clay. On this one, about a metre in front, because they're going quite fast, these two. So a CE on report, please. Pull. Okay. We got the E quite nicely. The C, we missed. Let's give that another go. Okay, same again. Pull. Pull, good. Okay, so that was I was shooting the C and E double there. I'm leading that by about 3 feet, which is what, about that much. Quite a large lead, but it is moving quickly and it's quite a long way away, about 60 yards away, 70 yards. A D and A double, so a D and A double, we just discussed this from the last trap house. We can shoot that. D and A double, please. Pull. That's nice when you dust them like that, eh?